Hello and welcome to Today in the News on Vanguard Live. I am Precious Chokudi. And seeing that report of the CBN governor saying that they want to redesign the 200, 500 naira and 1,000 naira notes, and according to what they were saying that this would reduce the excess cash that is in the coffers of some of these terrorists and all of that. Let's see how that goes. But then again, let's just start off with the front pages of the papers this morning. We're starting off with Vanguard, and Vanguard is leading with the main story. It says some INEC staff tried to enroll fake voters 40 times, and that's coming from YAKUBU. The writer says a total of 23 officials to face the law over multiple registration, announces 93.5 million voters for 2023 polls, says no going back on beavers. IREV and political parties pass confidence vote on YAKUBU. 12.29 million Nigerians completed registration as new voters. We can see a photo story showing the new Naira notes that was at the meeting. On page 11, court to federal government return Kanu to Kenya, pay 500 million Naira damages. Stories above, terror alert. Federal government US disagree on citizen evacuation. On page 21, banks tax remittance to federal government up 42% to 124 billion naira. Oil theft subsidy responsible for poor budget performance. That's coming from the finance minister. CBN redesigns Naira to control currency in circulation. On page 13, 2023, article believes Fulanis will make him president. That's coming from Autumn. PSN raises alarm over mass exodus of pharmacies. And we have court restrains a Kogi government from shutting down Dangote cement. On page 25, we have ASU strike. JAM hasn't cancelled any registration. That's coming from the registrar. All right, let's take a look at the Nation newspaper. The Nation is leading with PDP crisis. Autumn attacks Atiku as Mimiko rejects job. Setback for PDP presidential candidate in Benue. Ex-Ondo governor vows not to ditch Wike. We can see CBN changes Naira notes, 1,500 Naira, 200 Naira to wear new look. Apex Bank plans 3.2 trillion Naira cash mop-up in 100 days. Security alerts, no reason for evacuation of U.S. citizens. You can see that story on page 28. Court to Kogi, don't disrupt Dangote's operation. Marketers raise petrol price to 179 to 179 naira from 169 naira. No admission offer has been cancelled, says JAM. Online Lotto casinos orders to pay taxes directly to FIRS. All right, let's take a look at the Guardian newspaper. The Guardian is leading with worries for Naira as CBN redesigns currency, mobs 2.73 trillion Naira black money. The writer says hopeful step may rein in inflation, ransom payment, boost Naira value. Announcement interpreted as beginning black money mop-up. Decision could trigger asset bubble, says Ashogbo. Yusuf, exercise has no monetary policy significance. Naira reacts immediately, falls to 765 naira to a dollar at Lagos parallel markets. Experts worry about a timeline, urge NFIU to monitor huge deposits. Northern Group wants Emefiele sacked, threatens protests across region. EFCC backs move, warns against sabotage. Stories below, we have university admission session still valid, says JAM. Exoneration of Sarawiwa orders will end Ogoni conflict. Mossop insists. World Bank Global warns global inflation may worsen as currency depreciates. Experts prescribe ways to avert recession, grow economy in 2023. Stories above, we have terror alerts. Federal government dismisses the threat as U.S. evacuates workers, families from FCT. And last year on the front page of the Guardian, we have workers of defunct new Nigerian newspaper appeal to Lalong to pay entitlements. Let's take a look at the Punch newspaper. The Punch is leading with the 2023 Lagos, Kaduna, Rivers, Kanu voters top INEC register. We have the writer says 2.7 million illegal registrants deleted, 23 registration officers under sanction. INEC to display register from November 12 to November 25, 6 corporation. A photo story showing a Buhari eyes over $1.3 billion trade with South Korea. NDLEA freezes a 20 billion naira in socialites' 103 bank accounts. On pages 4 and 5, tears as BRT vehicle kills trader, apprentice, laborer. Federal government announces a preferred bidders for Abuja Lagos airports. Stories above, EFCC rearranges a suspended AGF over 109 billion naira fraud. DSS arrests terror suspects, US evacuate non-emergency staff. And flooding, last year on the front page of the Punch newspaper, flooding, experts warns of epidemic as corpses float. And that's all we can take on the front pages of the papers this morning. Join us after the break. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. If you're just joining, still today in the news on Vanguard Life, I am Precious Chukudi. Joining me to talk about some of the stories on the front pages of our papers this morning is Dr. Tayo Bateru. He's a journalist and former head Department of Mass Communication, Unijurs. Good morning, sir. It's good to have you join me this morning.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure being here again.
All right, let's delve into the stories. Now, according to INEC boss, he said that by the records of the commission, about 23 officials attempted to register some fake voters 40 times. What's your take on this response from the INEC boss?
I think it is very good that they are trying to do some house cleaning, because it's no hidden fact that some of the officials engage in some of these underhand activities that they tend to undermine the sanctity of the process. And so if they are beginning to look inward to identify bad eggs within the organization, so that they can use them as examples to check some of these abuses, I think it is very good. And I think it's also going to be a kind of credibility booster for INEC to show that they are really determined to deliver a credible election next year. So it is a good thing, and I want to say that there may be more, and so they should still continue with the sidelight so that more of the people within who are undermining the activities can be identified and sanctioned.
Mm-hmm. All right, so the professor also noted that at the end of the recent continuous voters registration, we have just 12 million new voters. Now, for a country like Nigeria that has over 200 million, people living in the country, 12 million new voters, is it not statistics not too low?
Yeah, it is really low, and it is not surprising because given the way things have been, our politics has been such that the voters tend to think that their votes do not count, and so not many people feel moved to go and exercise this civil right. So there is need for more enlightenment, because it is for our population. It just means that it's only a handful of people, a very low percentage of the population that gets to elect our public officers, which does not speak well, because it also means that not people are showing interest in the political process. So we need to do more to encourage people to participate in the process, and to make people know that their elections, their votes will count. Because if people believe that the power really belongs to them, and that if they cast their votes, it will count, I think more and more people will show interest. But when we have a situation where a lot of people think that their votes will not count, we'll continue to have a situation like this. Another thing that we must begin to consider is to lessen the burden or the hardship of the registration process. In other countries, people can go online and just get registered and do walk-in to register, and they get into places. without scheduling a particular time as we always have here. Because when we schedule time, it always creates that seat mentality that makes people to begin to rush. And when people get there and they can't get registered within a few hours or a few days, they get discouraged and they don't go again. So we must find a way of improving the registration process so that people can get registered easily, and then of course reassure the people that their votes will count. I think these ones will help to get people to participate in the process.
Yes, also in their report, they also noted that over 70% of people who registered in the just concluded continuous voters registration exercise for the election are vulnerable groups, including persons with disabilities. Now, looking at how social media basically is, and we see how so many people are always coming out to speak on 2023 elections, you must come out and vote and everything. What can you say about this scale of how it's being measured that over 70% of people who registered are actually people who are living with disabilities?
It is funny. What may be coming out from this is that we have a lot of noise on social media, but a little action. People want to show that they are interested on social media, but in natural fact, they don't bother to go and they do their registration. Of course, we must also ignore the fact that the new system now eliminates double registration. So even if we have a lot of people who have registered before and are trying to register again, they will be eliminated by the system. So we may always also have that. But just like I said, there is a wide gap between the noise we saw on social media when the process was on and the major number of people that got registered. So there must be a problem. Whether that people are not interested or people try to register and they got frustrated, like I said, and just didn't go through the process. But it is good that a lot of people with disabilities and are showing interest in the election process, and it is good that we have such a good number from them.
All right, let's move ahead and talk about this. So now the Central Bank of Nigeria has said it wants to redesign the Naira to take control over the circulation and integrity. What's your take on this one?
First of all, I find it very surprising that a whopping 80% of Naira in circulation is said to be outside of our banks. So where are people keeping this money? People keeping it in vaults or soccerways, they always are saying. But I think if from the statement of the central bank governor that I read yesterday, if those are the intentions, I think they are noble and they are good because they are bound to help in the cleansing system and ensuring that some of the bad activities of some people are addressed. But again, my fear is the timing. The timing coming at the time election is approaching. I don't know how we're going to combine this politicking and electioneering with people having to go and queue to be exchanging Naira notes. We know how it has been. In 1984, when something like this was done, it was chaotic, and people had to be. We were seeing long queues in banks. It became another siege situation where a lot of people couldn't change their Naira and they had to be virtually sleeping in the banks. So I hope the central bank, good as the idea behind it might be, putting measures to ensure that we do not have a crisis situation on our hands. Because if people cannot change the Naira, and we know the Nigerian factor, as we always say, you see some banks beginning to hoard now, or some people turning themselves into agents to make money from it, and then now bastardize the whole process. So, given the short time limit, I hope the central bank will plan well so that people are able to change their old Naira to the new ones without problem, and then that will not have the kind of siege that we always have when we have situations like this.
All right,
So
but
I think it's a good move.
yeah. All right, but do you think that the CBN's plan basically would, help to eliminate counterfeit notes and also reduce the quantum of illegal money? Do you think that would work really?
Yeah, that's why I said that if what you explained is the real intention, then we can only hope. Because I want to think that if they are bringing in new Naira notes, there must also be some security features the new Naira notes we have to check counterfeiting, especially since he even mentioned it himself that with new technology, it's now easier to counterfeit. This is definitely going to check it because you will not be able to go and change those counterfeit notes for new notes. So, in a way, if they are sincere and they pursue it, and if the intentions are, as you said, I think it's going to achieve some good results.
All right, let's move ahead. And the Federal High Court in Umuahia has, ordered the federal government to pay 500 million as damages. 7 million naira as damages to Nnamdi Kanu for forcefully abducting and also rendition him from Kenya. What's your thought on this one?
Well, I want to commend our courts for allowing the rule of law to stand in a way, even though some people still have their doubts, but at least from time to time, we see some glimmer of light from our courts when they stand and they give judgments that are based strictly on the rule of law. We are running a democracy, and we should not mistake in democracy for militocracy. When government behave as if we're still in a kind of military junta, and they kidnap people from across the borders and bring them here and lock them up without going through the due process, then it is a big problem. So I think the courts have done well, and I appeal to the federal government to set the example in obedience to the rule of law by obeying the court order. The courts, let's not forget that the court initially, some weeks ago, or last week, gave an order for him to be released, and this was not obeyed. But the government kept giving one excuse or the other. If the government expects citizens and other people to obey court orders, it should set an example in this regard by also obeying court orders. So I think it is a big development, a good development. If government feels otherwise, they can always appeal. But let everything is going to be done based on the rule of law.
All right, let's quickly take this one. And about 500 prominent Christian clerics from the north within the APC have asked the party to prevail on Senator Shettima to withdraw as Tinubu's running mate. Is it not too late for them to be asking that he withdraws?
I think it is too late. And then I sometimes think that people take some things to the extent of turning it into a joke. But they have expressed their positions severally. They even had a summit after the nominations and expressed their grievance. So I think that what is left to them now, if they are really serious, is to go and speak to their votes. After all, they have been told that it's something that they should go and speak to their votes. It is not about asking somebody to withdraw now when we know that INEC has already closed the door to such a thing. So it is not realistic. It's not a realistic call. If they are really serious and if they want to take it seriously, it is to go and speak to their voters. So if they had any protests or if they have any reservations about the choice, let their votes speak, and that will be a lesson for the future. But definitely, asking Shettima to withdraw is taking it too far.
All right, let's take Mr. and Mrs. before we go. And Mr. is speaking actually this morning. Says, henceforth, do not stop my mother from doing anything she feels like doing in this house. Do I make myself clear? And Mrs. says, let me make myself clear first. Mama insisted on cooking your meal. She was about to use engine oil when I stopped her. She became angry and said she had been using imported cooking oil before I was born.
the man had a choice to either allow the wife or allow the mom. But of course, he knows where his interest is.
All right, thank you, Dr. Tayo Obateru, journalist and former head Department of Mass Communication Unit. Just thank you for sharing your thought with us this morning.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, remember that you can equally like, share, and subscribe on all our social media platforms showing on your screen on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Also, our TikTok is showing on your screen. Our WhatsApp number is also displayed there. Go to our website, www.vanguardngr.com, to find out more of our top stories. I am Precious Chukudi, and thank you for watching. Have a fabulous day.